All right, let's be honest for a second. When was the last time you walked into a really important meeting and you felt your stomach sort of drop as your mind started racing with all the ways that you could really screw it up if you didn't say exactly the right thing? Yeah, I've certainly been there too. But here's what I've learned after years, literally years of staff meetings, board meetings, project meetings, think tank meetings, executive meetings, like probably any other kind of meeting you can possibly think of. The difference between people who rush it in meetings and people who shrink back is not always talent or experience. It's often what they do in literally the 2 minutes before they walk into the room. I've sat on both sides of the table. I've been the nervous guy, hoping nobody asks me a tough question in the meeting, and I've also been the one running the meeting. So let me share with you 3 techniques that I believe can transform your confidence in just 2 minutes, even if you don't feel totally prepared. And listen, again, these are not just theory for me. I've used them myself over and over. And my clients and coworkers have also used them in the various businesses that I've started and the ones I've worked for. So whether you're presenting to your boss today, or pitching to investors, or just trying to speak up in a staff meeting, I'm here to tell you these principles work. Here's all 3 parts of the 2-minute plan. 60 seconds to lead with value, 30 seconds to channel your 10x energy, and then another 30 seconds to lock in and launch. All right, each of those is inspired by lessons that I've learned by 3 very successful business thought leaders: Myron Golden, Grant Cardone, and Natalie Dawson. Let me explain each one. First of all, technique number 1, lead with value. I learned this from business consultant and 8-figure entrepreneur Myron Golden. And as Myron would say, taking a few seconds before the meeting to think about the lead with value principle is going to help remind you that you're not there to get, but to give. And that's going to shift your focus from self-consciousness to service. You can literally do this step in 60 seconds before you walk in the meeting. Just take 1 minute to write down or even just think through a few specific ways that your input is going to help the people in that room. Not impress them or make you look smart, but actually help them solve a problem or move the agenda forward. And then remind yourself, I'm going to be in there to serve, not to impress people. See, when you shift your focus from, I hope they like me, to how can I help them, something magical happens. Your nervousness transforms into purpose. And you stop worrying about how you sound in the moment and you start thinking about what they actually need to hear. This isn't just feel-good advice. This is a complete mindset shift that will change how you show up in the meeting. And here's technique number 2. Channel your 10x energy. This one is inspired by my boy, Grant Cardone. Grant is a successful businessman who manages a $4 billion investment fund. He's also a real estate investor, an author, and the founder of the 10X Growth Conference. And Grant loves to say, set goals 10 times bigger than what you think you want, and take actions 10 times greater than you think is necessary. In his book, The 10X Rule, he talks about thinking and acting bigger because big goals create big motivation and massive results require massive action. And he emphasizes showing up every time with intensity in every single setting. And that's what I'm talking about. Before you ever walk into the meeting, flip that 10X energy switch on. Stand tall, breathe deep, and just own the room before you ever walk in there. Because here's the deal. You've already got a bunch of nervous adrenaline pumping through your system before that big meeting, right? See, what most people do with that is they try to suppress it and push it down and just calm down. Wrong approach, my friend. Instead, take that nervousness and use it as the fuel for your 10X energy. Channel it into something powerful, which is confident poise and presence. Let me take a minute and tell you about a time that proved to me just how powerful this really can be. A few years ago, I was working for a private equity firm, and my boss asked me to drop off some important paperwork at another company. It was a contract we were working on. And you'd think that'd be a pretty straightforward task, right? Just drop it off at the front desk and leave. Well, that's what I thought too. But when I got there, the receptionist looks up at me and she's like, "Oh, we're expecting you." And then she walks me through this beautiful 10th floor office to a conference room. And as we approached, I could see through the glass walls into the room where several people in suits were sitting around the conference table waiting for me. Guys, I had no idea I was going to be doing any kind of presentation or be in that setting. I was seriously underdressed in casual office attire. I had zero plans to speak in a group setting. I mean, talk about being nervous. I thought I was going to die at first, but as the receptionist opened the conference room door to let me in, here's what I decided to do. Instead of panicking, I just decided to play the part, and I marched in there as if I was actually supposed to be there. I channeled all that nervous energy into confident action and just started rattling through the few bullet points that my boss had mentioned to me on the way out of our office, like just in case I needed them. And then I did my best to answer whatever questions they had with authority. And when they tried to negotiate, I just stuck to the terms of the deal without wavering at all. But here's the kicker. The truth is, I was blissfully ignorant about the vast majority of the contract details. I really had no clue what I was talking about. But my confidence way overshadowed my ignorance. So much so that when I got back to the office, my boss called me over and said the other company's CEO had already called him, reporting that I was, quote, a ferocious negotiator, and that they wanted to sign the contract without any changes. And here's the secret behind why that worked out so well for me on that day. The secret is I didn't care. And believe me when I tell you that I mean that in the best possible way. But bottom line, I wasn't there to impress anybody. That's what I mean. Now, I didn't even know that I was going to have to go to that meeting. And so while I certainly wanted to represent my own company well, I knew very little about the deal and had almost no emotional investment in whether they signed or not. And all that added up to me not really caring much at all about the approval of the people in that room. That's what gave me that 10x energy tenacity that turned me into a ferocious negotiator. My blissful ignorance meant that the people on the other side of the table really had zero leverage in the conversation because, frankly, it didn't matter what they said. I just didn't care. I was there for one reason, just deliver the info, get a signature, and leave. And I'm telling you, the only thing I had going for me that day was 10x energy confidence. But in the end, that was all I needed. It was enough to seal the deal. Now, I'm not recommending that you show up to meetings unprepared like I did on that day, but I am telling you that when you channel your nervous energy into confident action instead of trying to suppress it, it's actually a superpower. And here's the last technique to focus on in your 2 minutes before the meeting. Number 3, lock in and launch. Natalie Dawson talks about this a lot. She's known as a serial entrepreneur and an expert in developing people and building scalable teams. Her firm has over $1 billion in businesses under management. Natalie's advice before a meeting would be this: get laser clear on your goal, the key points, and your role in that meeting. And then just step in with certainty. And here's the thing, it doesn't usually take much time to do that. Like literally 30 seconds before the meeting starts, your prep routine could look like this. Just quickly review your main point, the one main thing that you want to contribute to that meeting. And then ask yourself some questions like why am I in the meeting? And what do I want to communicate and contribute in the meeting? That's it. Just be clear. Don't try to memorize a speech. You'll sound scripted and cheesy if you do that. And don't overthink every possible question. Just get really clear on your why and your main message. That will help remove your ego from the equation and give you a sort of like a North Star for the entire conversation. When you know your why, and you know what you want to communicate, you'll stop worrying about how you're being perceived and you'll just start focusing on your contribution. That's it. That's your 2-minute confidence boost. So let's quickly recap. In 60 seconds, you're gonna review how you plan to lead with value. Remind yourself you're there to give, not just to get. And then take another 30 seconds to channel your 10x energy. Flip your nervousness into powerful presence. And then finish off with 30 seconds on how you plan to lock in and launch. Just get laser clear on your role and step in with certainty. Look, I've used all 3 of these techniques for literally years in boardrooms, pitching to investors, leading employees and staff teams, and even in pastoral situations. And I'm telling you, they work because they shift your focus from internal anxiety to external impact. So the next time you're walking toward a meeting that makes your stomach sort of flip, remember this: you're not there to be perfect. You're there to be helpful, right? Channel that energy, know your purpose, and just watch what happens. And hey, if you want to go deeper with these kinds of confidence principles and see how they actually connect to a far bigger picture of bringing purpose to your workplace, I'm happy to tell you that I've created something special for you. It's my free 30-day Work as Worship devotional guide. Each day includes scripture, practical reflection, and specific challenges that I believe will transform how you see not just your meetings, but your entire work experience. I'm not talking about just getting through your job. I'm talking about turning your Monday morning dread into Monday morning purpose. The devotional will show you how to see your work as more than just a paycheck, but as a platform for making a real difference. So go grab your free copy in the description below right now. It's comprehensive, it's practical, and it builds on everything we just talked about. And if this video helped you today, then I would also ask that you hit that like and subscribe button for me. That's going to help me get this kind of workplace wisdom out to more and more people who really do need it. All right, that's it. Now go crush that next meeting, my friend. You've got this.